combustion and flame. Let us study what are the conditions required for combustion. What do you mean by telling that what are the conditions required for combustion? That means in which condition actually combustion is going to take place and in which condition combustion is not going to take place. Now let us study the conditions under which combustion takes place with the help of following activities. Why is the person caught in fire is covered with a blanket? यानी कि अगर किसी इंसान को आग लग जाए, यानी कि उसके कपड़े में आग लग जाए और उसकी वजह से उसकी बॉडी जलना शुरू हो जाए, तो ये एक बड़ा कॉमन प्रैक्टिस है कि उसको एक कंबल में लपेट दिया जाता है, चाहे कोई इंसान हो चाहे कोई ऑब्जेक्ट हो जिसको आग लग गई है, तो उसको बड़ी जल्दी से उसमें रैप कर दिया जाता है. Why this is being done? If the clothes of a person catches fire, he is immediately wrapped in a thick blanket. Purpose is that the blanket cut off the supply of air, that is the supporter of combustion, and hence the fire is put off. So in this process, let's stand with the help of a diagram. That the person will be wrapped like this and will be asked to roll like this. What will be the benefit of it? That the supply of oxygen will be cut off, supply of air will be cut off. And when combustion is taking place, if you are able to cut off the supply of oxygen, the combustion will stop. If you don't have a blanket, even then you should stop, drop and roll. These are the basic steps. So you can see in this picture the child. Stop means don't get panic. Quickly drop onto the surface, start rolling, because in this particular activity also the supply of oxygen will be cut off, because it's not always possible that somebody is there to help you out. There is nobody to help you out, so you can do this particular practice. If somebody is there to help you out, then that person can help you. Let us do some more activities to learn more about combustion. Can a matchstick burn on its own? Yes or no? No, it doesn't burn at all. Can we burn a wood pieces by lighted matchstick? The answer of these questions is no. Matchstick is not going to catch fire on its own. And now what is the reason why it doesn't catch fire on its own? So we'll be studying this. This shows that different substances burn at different temperatures. Some minimum temperature is essential for burning a combustible substance before it catches fire. This minimum temperature is called as ignition temperature. Now let's try to understand it better. Matchstick will not catch its fire on its own. And if you want to burn a log of wood using a matchstick, then also it doesn't burn. Now try to understand it in a deeper form. Every substance has its ignition temperature. Now what is this ignition temperature? Temperature at which a substance catches fire. यानी कि वो सब्सटेंस कोई भी हो जाए, मतलब हर अलग अलग सब्सटेंस का अलग अलग टेम्परेचर है जिस पे वो आग पकड़ती है. इसीलिए कुछ चीजें जल्दी आग पकड़ लेती हैं, कुछ देर से पकड़ती हैं, क्योंकि वो तब तक नहीं जलती जब तक कि वो इग्निशन टेम्परेचर पर नहीं पहुंचती. अब माचिस की तीली को अगर हम लें तो माचिस की तीली के ऊपर कुछ केमिकल लगा होता है, तो वो केमिकल इस तरीके से लगाया जाता है, फास्फोरस के कुछ कंपाउंड्स होते हैं जो लगाए जाते हैं, तो वो इस हिसाब से लगाए जाते हैं कि जब हम माचिस की तीली को माचिस के साइड में रब करते हैं तो फ्रिक्शन होता है, रगड़ होती है, उसकी वजह से हीट जनरेट होती है और वो हीट इतनी होती है कि वो माचिस की तीली को जला सके। तो यानी कि केमिकल्स ऐसे लगाए जाते हैं जो कम टेम्परेचर पे भी आग पकड़ ले, लेकिन हाँ उसका टेम्परेचर इतना रखा जाता है कि वो अपने आप आग ना पकड़े। जब तक उस टेम्परेचर पे ना पहुंचे तो वो फ्रिक्शन की वजह से टेम्परेचर बढ़ता है जब हम उसको रब करते हैं माचिस के साइड से। बट व्हेन यू हैव टू बर्न अ वुड log like this, we are unable to burn it using a matchstick. So how do we burn a log of wood? We try to put some kerosene oil on it and then we burn it with the help of a matchstick. Then it will burn with a matchstick. So at that time when you're putting a kerosene oil on it, or you're putting diesel on it, or you're putting petrol on it, and then if you're trying to burn it, then it burns with the help of a matchstick. Reason, because initially it is the petrol, diesel or kerosene, whatever you have used, initially that is burning because they have a low ignition temperature. They can burn with the help of a matchstick. So initially they burn and they start producing heat. They start producing heat, that increases the temperature, and slowly as the temperature is increasing, then the wood also starts burning because the wood has also reached the ignition temperature. Try to understand it better. Ignition temperature, it is the minimum temperature to which a combustible substance must be heated before it catches fire. So you have to heat the combustible substance, and when it reaches a particular temperature at which it can catch fire, then only it will start burning. Therefore, we see that a combustible substance cannot catch fire as long as its temperature is lower than that the ignition temperature. That is, ignition temperature of phosphorus is 35 degrees Celsius. So unless phosphorus is heated to 35 degrees Celsius, it will not catch fire. However, if the temperature of the air is 35 degrees Celsius or more, phosphorus will catch fire without heating. So, we have taken an example to understand better that the ignition temperature of phosphorus is 35. So, as soon as phosphorus is going to reach 35 degrees Celsius, we are heating the phosphorus so that it reaches 35, or the air or the atmosphere is having a temperature of 35 degrees Celsius, then it will automatically catch fire even if we are not heating it. And that was the reason that phosphorus is kept in water. When we were studying metals and non-metal, at that time I have told you that phosphorus catches fire very easily because 35 degrees Celsius is a temperature which is easily obtained in summer season. So to be on the safe side, phosphorus is stored in water. Similarly, kerosene oil and wood do not catch fire on their own at room temperature, but if both are heated a little, then kerosene oil will catch fire and not wood. What does it mean? That means the ignition temperature of kerosene is less, whereas the ignition temperature of wood is more. This shows that the ignition temperature of kerosene is lower than that of the wood. Let's do an activity which will show that a substance cannot burn until it reaches its ignition temperature. Why does the fire goes off when water is poured over the burning wood? यानी कि जलती हुई लकड़ी के ऊपर जब पानी डाला जाता है तो आग बुझ क्यों जाती है? The reason is it happens because the water absorbs the large amount of heat energy which results in the fall in the temperature of wood below its ignition temperature and the fire goes off. So as water की capacity है ये कि वो काफ़ी हीट एब्जॉर्ब कर सकती है। सो जब वो हीट एब्जॉर्ब कर लेती है तो टेम्परेचर जो है डाउन आ जाता है। अब जब टेम्परेचर डाउन आ जाता है तो वुड जल इसलिए नहीं पाती है कि टेम्परेचर इतना डाउन हो जाता है कि वो वुड की इग्निशन टेम्परेचर से भी कम हो जाता है। अब क्योंकि वो इग्निशन टेम्परेचर से भी कम हो गया टेम्परेचर, तो वुड आग नहीं पकड़ पाती है एंड द burning process is stopped. Now try to test yourself. What do you mean by the supporter of combustion? Means what are the three things which are going to support combustion, or in other words we can say what are the three conditions necessary for combustion. So the three things which are necessary for combustion are: you should have a fuel, one thing; two, supporter of the combustion, that is oxygen; and third is the ignition temperature. When all these three things are there, only then burning or combustion of a particular process takes place. Name the gas in which is a non-supporter of combustion. So as oxygen is a supporter of combustion, so which gas is non-supporter of combustion? And that is carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide doesn't support combustion at all. So to stop combustion, we often take the help of carbon dioxide burning process. How do we control the fire? So there are different methods to control fire, and while controlling the fire, it is important to note down that what type of fire is it. So according to the type of fire, we have to use different methods to stop the fire. We have seen in homes, shops and factories caught in fire, how can the fire be controlled from spreading? Generally, the water is used to control fire. So this is a very common method used to stop the fire, that is putting water on it. Water brings down the temperature of the combustible substance below its ignition temperature. So because of putting of water, the ignition temperature, whatever the substance is burning, so whatever ignition temperature that substance is having, water brings the temperature to such an extent that it becomes below its ignition temperature, so the substance is unable to catch fire. The water vapors surrounds the combustible material, thus helping in cut off the supply of air so that the fire can be extinguished. So this is a very common method that we use water. In this picture also you can see water, and this both the pictures you can see that the fireman is using water technique to stop the fire. Now important thing to be noted down over here is that whenever there is a fire produced by burning of oil or petrol, cannot be controlled by throwing water on it, because water being heavier than oil settles down the oil and oil continues to burn. In the case of fires caused by burning of liquid fuel such as kerosene oils, can be controlled by throwing sand or soil over it. Whenever there is a fire because of oil, we cannot extinguish that fire by using water, because water is heavier, will settle down, and oil is lighter, will float. And as oil is lighter, so the fire will continue. So in that case, instead of using water, soil or sand is being used. So you may have seen in certain institutions and organizations and even in fire stations that these type of buckets keep hanging, which are filled with soil or sand. We know that there are three conditions necessary for producing and sustaining combustion. 1. Presence of combustible substance, that means fuel. presence of supporter of combustion means oxygen, and attainment of ignition temperature. Now these three things are necessary for combustion, and if you want to control fire, out of these three things you will have to control at least minimum one thing has to be controlled. If you are able to control two things, very good. Oxygen, support of combustion. If you are successfully able to remove it from there, combustion will stop. Heat, that means if you are able to lower down the ignition temperature, if you are able to make the thing cool by throwing water and all, that can be one of the option. Fuel, if you are able to remove fuel, then also combustion will stop. So you can use any of the mechanism. You can remove oxygen, you can remove heat from there, you can remove fuel from there, and automatically the chemical reaction stops. Now let's take an activity in three different conditions. What are the three conditions different taken over here? One, there is a glass inverted on a burning candle, but the candle still continues to burn. The reason is that from the lower portion there is a gap because the wood pieces are being kept, which is elevating the glass, and air can continuously enter into it. So as the supply of air is there, so combustion will continue and the burning process will not be stopped. Now let's check the second condition. Over here there is no such pieces of wood which can elevate this glass, so combustion is unable to take place because supporter of combustion, that is oxygen, is not being supplied. There is no place for oxygen to enter or air to enter in. The third condition, also you can see that the combustion is not taking place at all. From the top also and from the lower portion also, there is no supply of air at all. So this experiment shows that oxygen is really very necessary for the combustion process to take place. So these are the two pictures of fire extinguishers commonly being used. In your school, both the type of fire extinguishers are hanging on the walls of corridors. You may have seen it also. Basically, both are similar, only in the working there is a difference. In this portion you can see that the carbon dioxide is coming out from this particular portion, whereas in these type of fire extinguisher you have a pipe-like structure, and this is the opening of the nozzle pipe, and from here carbon dioxide is going to come. So you have a extension, you can say that you have an extension so that it can be used in a better way. So depending upon the type of fire, both are effective. For small type of fire you can use this one easily, it's handy. For a bigger fire you have to use this one, it's a heavier one. It has a safety pin also, we'll be watching it in the next slides. The fire extinguishers also try to cut off the supply of air or bring down the temperature of the fuel, or both, to control the fire. The combustible substance as such cannot be eliminated in most of the cases from the place of fire. So the fire extinguisher, what they are doing? One is that they are cutting off the supply of air, or they are bringing down the temperature of the fuel, or they are doing both the process. They are cutting down the supply of air also, and they are trying to bring the temperature also down. So in this you can see this is a pipe moving from here till here, and then this is the opening. So you get an extension, so you can throw the carbon dioxide from a distance away from fire, because it's not so easy to go close to the fire. So much safer. From here you will have to open it. And there are various types of fire extinguishers used for controlling a fire. The job of a fire extinguisher is to cut off the supply of air or bring down the temperature of the fuel. So how to cut off the supply of air? By spraying carbon dioxide on it. So they spray carbon dioxide so that around the flame there will be carbon dioxide more. So as the flame will not get oxygen, so it will not continue to burn. Because it's not so easy to remove fuel sometimes when there is a fire and the temperature is increasing because of fire. It's not easy to remove the combustible substances from that place. So the two options left is only that to cut off the supply of air and to bring soda acid fire extinguisher. So let us study this type of fire extinguisher. Carbon dioxide liberated by the reaction of sulfuric acid with sodium bicarbonate solution comes out in a stream of liquid water at a high pressure. Water put off the fire by lowering the temperature of the combustible material below its ignition temperature, and carbon dioxide cut off the supply of air to the combustible substance. So soda fire extinguishers, in that actually there are two reactants, sulfuric acid and sodium bicarbonate. They are kept in a separate chambers inside the fire extinguisher, and when you pull out the safety key, then this two reactants, they start mixing, they start reacting, and when they react, carbon dioxide is produced, water is produced. So with a high pressure, these products comes out and helps in extinguishing the fire by lowering the temperature as well as cutting down the supply of oxygen. So here you can see the picture of a soda acid fire extinguisher. So this is the handle, safety pin, this yellow color thing. This has to be pulled. You have to pull it like this. This one is the handle so that you can lift it. This is the pressure gauge. You can control the pressure with which carbon dioxide and water is coming out. This one is the siphon tube. So this is a siphon tube. So you can see sulfuric acid is present in this can. Sodium carbonate solution is present over here. So when you pull the safety pin, then with the help of a siphon, the reaction starts. So both the reactant, they get mixed. Otherwise, they are separately kept in a separate container. This one is in a separate container, you can see, and this one is a separate container. So as soon as this reaction starts taking place through this pipe and this nozzle, carbon dioxide and water starts coming out. And this is how the fire can be put out.